Hello all.
Hello.
Today is the 11th of January 2023, and this is a regularly scheduled monthly meeting, public meeting of the Board of Trustees at Liberty Town Library. We've got in attendance here myself, Alexander Burke, and
Beth Tsunami.
and
Terry Litterst.
And with the three of us, we're pronouncing a quorum, and we can move forward with the business of the board. Dick Raven will not be able to join us today, and equally Margaret Grimes is not here, so but the three of us, that is quorum. Also in attendance is our esteemed library director, Aaron Thompson. So here we are, here we go. We've got the agenda, everyone has that, and I can look at it. We need first to consider the minutes from the December 14th meeting. Have you all had a chance to look at them? And
Yes.
Any objections or corrections? I'm good with them too, therefore I move acceptance, and unanimously we're agreeing to accept the minutes of the December 14th meeting. Okay, next agenda item is the director's report. Erin, over to you. Walk us through it.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a couple of wonderful things that have happened over the last couple weeks. We have been able to provide patrons with free COVID test kits for the month of December and now into January as well. That came from the Board of Health, who had extras, and they go like hotcakes. So patrons are really getting a lot of use out of them and taking them, and hopefully being able to be safe while they're with their loved ones during holidays and now going forward. The Board of Health also supplied us with a box of masks, a big box of multiple boxes of masks for children and adults as well, which is really great to be able to offer to patrons this winter. My grant to the Newbury Cultural Council was approved, and we are now able to add Strawberry Bank and the House of Seven Gables to our museum pass lineup. So that's 11 pass offerings total. So a full list is the Museum of Fine Arts, Museum of Science, PBSX, the New England Aquarium, Boston Children's Museum, Isabella Stewart Gardner, Strawberry Bank, House of Seven Gables, Seacoast Science Center, the U.S. Constitution Ship Museum, and the Boston Harbor Island Ferry, which is pretty awesome for a small library.
Yes.
It's terrific.
Patron Kathy Dunphy is offering a January mindfulness workshop for patrons. And we have the Amy Roberts art exhibit up through February in the community room. Bali X returns to the library in February for both a children's program and an adult program, which is a Bollywood dance fitness program, which was so much fun. Catherine's Mitten Drive had 91 hats and mittens donated to Cut and Gill House, and she was just featured in the Newburyport Daily News with her photograph, which was pretty great. The Newburyport Daily News just published a photo from our Storytime last Friday, where they were doing I think it was the music and singing and music Storytime. And they were here to photograph that as well. So we're getting some awesome press with them, which is great. And I think I mentioned Newburyport Magazine is going to be here, I think, this Friday to photograph the Teddy Bear Storytime, which will be featured in their spring issue, which is also very, very exciting. So that's wonderful. The Friends Forest of Trees fundraiser raised their largest amount ever. So they raised over $2,500 this December. Actually, it was $2,600 was the final total in yesterday's meeting, which is huge. That's more than came in, I think, for Harvest Fest. by a long shot. I think Harvest Fest brought in just under 1,000. So that's incredible. Let me see. And Catherine has spearheaded the first annual adult winter reading program at the library. Participants will receive a mug that I designed that you have a picture of right there. I was hoping we were going to have them arrive now so I could actually bring one of the mugs in, but they're not here quite yet. And they'll get like a little cocoa packet inside it. It's got, little like kind of Higa. Is it Higa? How do you say Higa? What's that?
Hug?
Swedish word for.
Oh, Huga.
Thank you, Huga. So it's kind of
YGE.
warm, comfy vibe going.
Oh, nice.
And the remainder of those mugs, which were funded by the Friends, we expect about 20 people to participate in the program. And that leaves us with another, I think, 48 or so mugs that the Friends are going to sell in their bookstore. So we'll see how those do. All right, so the budget request. This year's budget request came in right before the Christmas holiday. It has several new reports to fill out, which you all have seen. So much documentation. It included the annual report, which is usually due in mid-March, but now is due with this budget request at today's meeting. So all of these documents will need board approval. It's possible that if you have further edits, you could approve it and say with these edits completed, for example, but this has to go to Tracy on Friday. So that will be the bulk of today's meeting, I think. I have no update on the Teamsters Union, nor of an initial meeting date as yet. Budget summary and funds updates are attached. I did, I think it was yesterday, get some more information from Lillian about the funds, but I haven't had time to sort through that email in its entirety yet, so it might make sense for me to just forward that to you all so that we all have that shared understanding of how they work, what's expendable. I just asked for more detail because I wasn't really sure what happens if I spend this whole budget. So does it wipe out the fund entirely, or is that whole thing interest and for each fund? So I need to still kind of sort through that. Let's see. Staff development. I reached out to Chief Fisher from the Newburgh Police about providing library staff with a hands-on CPR and safety training workshop. And she forwarded my request to Deputy Chief Aaron Wojcicki. I know I butcher his name every time.
Wojtkowski.
Say it again.
Wojtkowski. But make the W Wojtkowski.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. Because he will be in charge of that, and I'll keep you posted when I hear back from him. Personnel policy revision request is on hold still until we have a better idea of what's happening with the union. The second item that I hope to advance with this meeting has to do with the local history room project. Now that it's January and all reports have kind of been filed once this budget request is through. You know, the ARIS report, the financial report, all of the action plan, the long range, everything as of the end of today will be done. Hallelujah. And that will give us time to kind of look at what we want to do with the local history room project. So $30,000 last year was from the NAID donation. Was voted on by the Board of Trustees to go towards getting this room and its documents and everything kind of cataloged, digitized, and made accessible, along with the town, what the town has already done, as well as the town's historical commission. We've started, Dorothy, bless you,
Thank you.
Dorothy put together a rough kind of idea of what we want for a job description. But I thought maybe it would be good to ask everybody here to bring your thoughts to the next meeting about what do you think the goals are for this position, for this room, and how do we measure success at the end of this project? You know, so from the beginning to kind of the end, what do we really want this to look like? And probably the best way to start is with brainstorming, and then we can kind of go at it at the next meeting.
In your notes, that was the only thing I didn't say. Edit, it says the tree departments instead of 3. At the end of the
Last
paragraph.
sentence, paragraph.
Oh, yes, and tree departments.
We knew what you meant.
Sorry.
Yeah. I
No
didn't want
question.
to bug you, but
Oh,
All right, on to library building and grounds. The study room, we are hoping to reopen soon. Still kind of unpacking boxes left over from construction. And there's a lot that's been shoved in that room, so we're bit by bit trying to, and I say we, it's not been me, it's been like Dorothy and other people, even the friends of health, to make that room available to patrons once again.
can I go back to the local history
Oh,
room
sure.
project for a second?
Yes.
If things are going to be digitized, is the cost of the digitation included in this 30,000?
Nothing is known. That's for you all to kind of determine. So there's no, what's here is as much as I know at least. And Dick Sari weighed in last week, he came in and he was trying to find any other documentation from when it was passed to spend 30,000, but the 30,000 was kind of just a rough estimate. Maybe we can spend less. I hope we can spend less, but we wanted to have a good.
Because I had an experience trying to get family slides digitized. Since my father was very gung-ho and had a lot of slides. And I went to Hunt Camera in Melrose after my sisters and I looked at a certain chunk of them. Left them there, picked them up this week. It took a long time to do it. That's just like, it was $3,400 for 3,400 slides altogether. That includes the preparation, the actual transfer into web form or internet form, and 3 flash drives for my 2 sisters and myself. It was more than I actually thought it would come to, because I didn't count every single slide, but that it was accurate.
There are resources for libraries. I think through the Boston Public Library is one.
Yeah, I'm not recommending using Hunt's
Right.
or no,
Right,
it's
but
just
just
that
for
it's
an estimate. yeah.
just for an estimate.
We wouldn't need to go the commercial route that
Okay.
a private citizen would need to go, number one. Number two, if we get a person who is an archival librarian, which is the hope, right? We have lots of scanning capabilities of all different sorts right here in the library, so we don't know what's possible. But this is all kind of what needs to get flushed out. What's the scope of the project? What needs digitizing? Everything, and how? And probably we can get some estimates if the town already did some digitizing. We can get some costs. What did they pay when they did their project?
Yeah, Leslie retired, but she's a person who would be a point person to find out a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, and maybe was Gretchen here when that project happened?
It was
Before
before,
her time, okay.
when they moved to their current location,
Okay.
there were a lot of original papers, and the town of Newbury has the largest collection of original documents in the country.
Yeah,
It's my understanding.
mine too.
Yeah, that's what they tell us.
So, in that, for an archival librarian, maybe you don't know the answer to this, but wouldn't that be one of their
Yeah,
things for them to do it?
I
Yeah.
would think, yes.
Okay, all right. So we would write that in the job description, that's what we expect you to do. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. But then if they do have, so there are going to be levels of an archival librarian that we can find, right?
Mhm.
So are there grant sources or other ways to fund,
Right.
say, the digitizing process, and then the archival librarian would take care of cataloging and organizing, or it's not anything that I have direct experience with in my whole life. So I'm not able to add a ton to add into the scope, other than we know that this room is not really accessible to our patrons, and certainly not in a digital way, never mind in being organized way. So it would be helpful to have somebody tell us, look at this room and tell us what it needs in a way. So anyway, but if we could have that kind of, we could brainstorm and come to the table maybe with a little bit of digging to see what's out there, what's possible, and talk this through at the next meeting.
Okay, I casually know a retired archival librarian, not that she's looking for a job, but I'm just gonna ask her.
Is she
some of
from
those questions.
Amesbury? Because Dorothy does too, who is retired, and she's an archival librarian. She's right now working on Northampton's library local history room.
I don't
I
know.
wonder if it's the same person.
I
Anyway,
know this
she
person
said
from
she'd
my
be
art
interested.
class.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You should talk to Dorothy, see if it's the same person. Okay. Let me go on. Dorothy and I, we haven't made any progress on the building book this past month, but we're still going to continue working on the building book and pulling together all the details for that. For security cameras, the deadline to apply for capital funds for the security cameras project was November 1st, so we need to wait until next year to apply for that if we want to. I'm still waiting to hear back from Matt in Town Hall's IT department to hear if he has input on a project like this. He had mentioned to me before some connection to a project he's working on, which I think has to do with fiber optic connections or something that might have to do with security. So I think he'd be a good, and regardless, he'd be a great person to have involved because he manages the security cameras over at Town Hall. But he's very busy, so it's hard to actually get him. I have, let's see, no update on the security issue with the front door left locking issue. And I can try to check in with James this month again to see what we can do on that. The alarm codes have all been changed with our alarm company, and everybody affected has been notified to use their new alarm codes. And then I have no update on the following, which is just the same list as last time. We'll get there. All right, for upcoming programs and events, I have attached the January and February calendars for programs of note. We are offering Tech Help I think, right now in the community room. So this is the first time Tech Health has been back at the library, and we're going to be doing it each month for the next 3 months for 2-hour segments. And then if that all goes well, we're going to try to get more funding from the Friends so that we can offer it maybe twice a month on an ongoing basis. We also brought back yoga, but this time with Beth Houlihan from Roots to Wings. And that 6-week session, I think, begins next week or the week after.
Do you know what day?
It's Tuesdays at 11. Starts on the 24th. She's fantastic. Roots to Wings is awesome. I've gone to classes there, and I think that this is going to be a well-loved class. Let's see, in February, we're hosting Working with Census Reports for local history, genealogy enthusiasts, and that will be online. And in children's, we're doing multiple Read to a Therapy Dog sessions ongoing all this month. The Wire Art program was very well attended and waitlisted. That happened this past Saturday. And like I mentioned, the 10-year Storytime ended this week is going to have a photo featured in the spring issue of the Report magazine, which is pretty great.
Who's the therapy dog?
We have 2 therapy dogs, and we alternate between them. One is a smaller, Charles something Spaniel.
King Charles.
It is King
Charles.
Charles. And I think the other one is a black lab. And so the kids sign up for a 15-minute session, and it's great. It's a de-stress kind of situation, but it also helps them with their reading skills and reading aloud in a no pressure kind of situation.
That would be a sweet thing to see in the paper.
It would. It would. And then I think you all saw Catherine's picture
Yes.
in the paper, which is awesome. All right, so that is what I have for. Sorry, I rushed through it. I just know that we might have a lot to go through with all of the documentation for the budget request. So with that, I think we can move
You
on.
want to move on to the budget request?
Yeah, I did not include 2, I didn't include the org chart because it's pretty obvious and transparent. I didn't include like our address and all of those forms. So I just included the ones that needed editing and needed your, I did include them in what I sent you by email. They're just not printed. The annual report was interesting to do because you're looking back on FY22, which starts in 2019. You know, so it goes back quite a bit at this point. So it's interesting to go back and see everything, all the construction pictures. One of the changes I made, which I don't think was in all the prior drafts that I sent you, under significant changes, I realized that part 1 and part 2, I was basically repeating the goals when what I needed to be talking about was the significant change because it falls under that. So I reworded that section so it was more accurate under this heading.
So there's nothing in the first that's really changed, right? Paragraph? Not paragraph, but
No.
the first, so significant changes is where you changed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Dick Passeri did come in to kind of help a little bit,
Yeah, I noticed there was some,
which was good to get another.
I kept reading it and making notes, and then I'm like, oh, a new one.
Yeah.
Toss that stuff.
Sorry.
That's all right,
I
hey.
know. I think, I'm so glad it's due now because I probably could edit
It's
it
gone.
forever.
Yeah, yeah.
So do we need to be discussing or voting, or what is your sense on these?
Well, it needs, one way or another, I cannot give, I don't believe, I can't give this to Tracy unless it has been approved by the board. So there's two ways it can happen. And as you know, well, I have to get it to her. The deadline was Monday, which is Martin Luther King Day. She,
Right.
like 2 hours ago, changed it to Tuesday because she'd forgotten it was holiday. But I'm out next week, so
You're not going to be here.
right.
So you have to do it
Okay,
Friday.
mail
I
it
have
in.
to do it Friday. So if you have changes, I can still, you can vote this through with the changes you want, and then I'll make those changes and submit it. But it does need to get voted through.
And you said Dick looked at this, right?
Sari?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And did Dick Raven work on this as well to some degree?
No.
Yeah,
No, he's
kind of
going
suspected.
through it. Yeah.
It's just buried.
Yeah. No, but you had a lot of good input too. And sorry, I hope I put, you had edits that I think I put in. I had some issues with my OneDrive, which is supposed to autosave because it's in the cloud, and twice I
Yeah.
lost my changes. And thank goodness I had actually printed out a hard copy. I
You
almost,
said that.
oh my God. Because that was one with a big round of changes. So now, after I finished the final edits, I copied it, emailed it to myself, downloaded it to my home computer. I made backup copies, like it was going nowhere.
When you sent this out this morning, I brought it up on my laptop, and the Microsoft people on this first page picked up 3 or 4 little things, okay?
Oh, good.
First paragraph, 3rd line, more complete service the community. It wants the preposition to between service and the.
This position is greatly helpful library
To the community, yeah.
provide more complete. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay, and again, the point I made in the edits I did, that sentence to me is the conclusion of the paragraph. The way it stands in the middle is simply a re-argument for the position itself, which isn't necessary, it's been granted. And if it were rephrased slightly, this position has greatly helped the library provide more complete service to the community as a concluding sentence. It just strikes me that way, it's editorial, that's all.
Tell me that again. This position has greatly helped.
Yeah, and make it the final sentence, not the middle of the paragraph. I think it loses its effectiveness in there. Plus again, it's a presentation and request for the position, which has already been granted. I don't see its need in the middle there. But at the end, rephrase, it makes a nice conclusion. But that's not what Microsoft said, okay?
Yeah.
In the bold-faced 3rd paragraph, probably could be put in regular, non-bolded, okay? And the Microsoft people picked up in regards, drop the S,
Where are you?
in regard to,
In regard.
or my own phrasing would be as regards, but as you wish.
Okay.
And I don't know that you need the definite article "the" in front of NTL's FY '24 budget, but again, stylistic. Moving to the third sentence, town statement of goals, there should be a comma there. That's Microsoft, not me.
Oh, yep.
Yep, right. Okay, and then coming down under significant changes, the paragraph beginning this FY '24 budget,
Hold
so on
on
and so forth.
Michael, I have to handwrite all of these, so I have to,
Okay,
because I want to make sure I get them all. Okay, where are you now?
under significant changes, the second paragraph,
Yes.
beginning this FY '24 budget, next line.
Yeah.
Budget in order to,
Yeah.
you simply need to say to, you don't need in order. That's Microsoft helping you, not me,
All right.
although I would agree with that. Alrighty then.
All right.
And again, we have our disagreement as to the use of the word shortfall versus gap.
I did ask.
Yeah, I know, you put it in the
Okay.
intro, but you didn't put it further down. I don't like shortfall because it carries the sense that it is something that was deprived us.
I have pulled on this one, and I asked Dick, who thought shortfall, I didn't want to do it, have it be charged.
Yeah,
And consensus was to use shortfall, but it's whatever you guys decide is
no, that's
well
just me.
okay with me.
That's just me,
I'm
no.
sorry, where are we
Let
now?
it stand. It's
Um,
your presentation, not
Next.
mine.
Yeah, I used the word shortfall here
Mhm.
instead of gap, but I have the word gap up in the,
Right.
I think shortfall is fine. I mean, it could be, it falls short of what it was supposed to be.
right.
Gap to me, I
Supposed to
wouldn't know
be.
which way.
It's supposed to be. But when you use the word gap, you're conveying the sense that it ineluctable and unavoidable.
Right, I understand that. However, gap to me could go either way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So that's the reason I would do shortfall. You want to be very clear about what's
Right.
happening. It's not above it, it's below it.
Okay.
But I get your point, though. You're
course.
trying not to be negative.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I get that.
Blended too neutral.
Yeah.
But I think shortfall
Right.
is
It's
better
more
descriptive.
appropriate. Yeah.
And I hope that they'll appreciate we're not asking for
Right.
them to pay everything, we're just asking for some.
Your action plan is clear,
Yeah.
trying to blend in over 3 years.
Right.
But this, one of the ironies of first, the clerical entry of bringing the maintenance of the building, 56,000 into the budget in order to satisfy the MAR. One of the ironies is we picked up 10, 11,000 right out of that.
Right.
Again, unavoidable. One of the ironies of Liz's position, again, because the percentage is that of the entire budget.
Right.
So,
But it shouldn't keep leaping now that
Yeah.
those two, those two things happened and we reached the MAR, which is great.
be stabilized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's where the most recent,
right.
the bad news coming after the good news.
It
Anyway,
is, yeah.
that's all I've got, and that's all the folks at Microsoft picked up on the, on the very last paragraph, on the very last page, Microsoft, in the very last sentence, we hope you will approve the NTLs, delete the, you don't need it.
Well, the way that I write it as the Newbury Town Library is the NTL, so I've been consistent in that one throughout.
So
If
leave
that
it
one's
be.
okay.
However, under budget goals, last sentence,
Yeah, you have.
town could enhance NTL's operating budget is the phrasing, so.
Did I write?
Enhance
Too fussy.
NTL's operating budget, and that's correct, we have it there.
Town,
I could go either way with the.
I haven't found the sentence yet.
Oh, it's the last
Goal.
one.
This one? Oh, under goals, not
Yeah, he's
included.
just saying
Yeah.
that we used it there, under goal 1,
Thank you.
so. you
I'm
know.
like blind to this document now.
Yeah, I
All
can
right,
imagine.
If the town could enhance, okay, what am I changing? Oh, the. For
Yeah,
the-
if you, His
didn't
point
put it
is
in
just
there.
that
To be consistent.
to be consistent.
Thank you.
right.
And then in the middle of the enclosing paragraph, that's point. The NTLs need to become more financially secure.
It's just when you use acronyms versus the name, it kind of changes how you say it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So I see what you're saying, that
should I
if you
take
said.
the out everywhere?
I would. Did
I
you,
think,
did you?
Leave it
think
or
so?
strike it.
I would say strike it.
I would too.
It's kind of
Me too.
superfluous because it's an acronym.
Yeah.
It
You
just
don't need a
sounds better
definite
without
article
it.
there.
It's kind of like someone saying the Facebook,
Okay.
yeah,
So,
you know?
good
But that's,
point.
but I can see where you're saying in your mind,
I-
Newberry
yeah.
Town, live at the Newberry Town Library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had to change it to not saying the Newburytown Library because
Mhm.
that takes up so much space, it makes it
Yeah.
go beyond 3 pages.
Yeah, you had that limitation there.
Okay, so I need to find the other.
so in
places.
closing, there's this, the
That's okay.
NTLs.
Go back to the very beginning of
Actually,
it,
she
there's
can
buzz
just-
all over the
You could just
place.
do a find for the NTLs and it'll pick
Yeah.
everyone
I
out.
think that's all you
Okay.
have to say.
That'd be
Yeah, I'll do
easiest,
that.
I think, because believe me, I sure didn't pick them all up.
Replace.
Yeah, I think that's easy.
However, none of that impacts
No, it doesn't.
the thrust of the thing.
All right. Does it seem clear? I guess my goal with it was really to show that we can manage probably around 6,000-ish of a shortfall. You know what I mean? We do have interest-only funds that are definitely earmarked for for children's books or whatever, but
Mhm.
that does meet the materials requirement. And so it is fitting, like we can use those funds for it. But the jump was 144%. I thought that
It's
was
very effective,
significant.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not asking them to cover all of it, so I hope I didn't know how to really let them know, like, we're not asking for the whole shebang, but we need a little help because we're digging into stuff to the point that we can't get what we need. Like, especially with the Friends, they need to not be covering
Right.
that
operating stuff.
$5,200.
That really is weird.
Because we really need it for programming. And I couldn't, the travel costs are up, so when we hire a presenter, the travel costs are doubled on
Yeah.
top of the presentation, which has gone up,
Mhm.
and they weren't able to give us our increase when we asked before. So hopefully this will alleviate that for them. But, so, I don't know, it was hard to be clear. You want to be short and to the point, but
Yeah.
there's explaining and educating to do too about the
Right.
funds.
You know, we've got that MAR thing, and we sort of put that into the back rearview mirror, so to say.
Yeah,
It's been achieved,
yes,
and that's Gene's work, your work, Dick's, everybody's,
yeah.
no question. And now we have this materials expenditure thing hanging on us, and
Yeah.
we need to move that into a more sustainable approach year in, year out.
Yeah, I
And-
did find from, one of the things from Lillian's email is that there are certain funds, like, that are investment accounts, but that we're not spending just the interest of. So when they're gone, they're gone.
That's,
Just like gift and donations, when it's gone, it's gone. They're not, there's only a couple that actually, we're only allowed to spend the interest, and then there's the others that they're finite. So not a sustainable source.
we could exhaust them,
We will, we absolutely will.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of, I don't know. hate to
And then
be-
it's all the towns, or not.
Come again?
Once those funds have been exhausted, their ability to offset materials expenditure evaporates.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And then paying the entire materials expenditure
Goes to
will
the
fall
town.
upon the town, or
Right.
not.
Or not, and then we're not certified.
There we go.
Yeah.
Will take a while, but that's what would happen.
Yeah. not too long at this rate. At this rate of having, what is it, 18,000 not covered,
Right.
I think was the predicted number for next year, for FY '24. If we keep having that much each year, it's not gonna
Like
take
in the
It's
long.
gone in
last
2
while.
years.
Yeah.
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 But I don't know that I said that as clearly as I could, but it is what it is. And hopefully it makes sense to them. I've asked for a meeting with Tracy for when I get back from vacation to talk about it.
Good.
We're supposed to be able to do that, but I haven't heard back. I also asked Julie and Tracy, I asked them both, if there's been a managers meeting. So since I've been hired May 1, we haven't had a managers meeting. But they used to be every month or every 2 months.
Yeah.
Tracy, I've been asking, and she had told me they're about quarterly, but I've had none, and this is what, 3/4 almost? So, I don't know, but I wanna be able to get in there and get some FaceTime with her if I can, to make sure it's clear.
Yeah. It's probably because of COVID
Yeah.
that they didn't have any meetings. But yeah, you're right.
No, they had one in April,
Oh, so
Yeah.
right before you.
right before.
Oh, there you go, Erin. Oh, it's a little it's
And that was
clearer
pretty
to me
funny.
now. Tell them you'll bring cookies.
They're waiting for me to do that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. All
All
right.
right, and then the annual report, which is part of this request, is probably the next piece that needs massive, proofing, editing, hit me with it. And we had to do it in a completely new format because I lost my Adobe InDesign, which is what I've done all the other annual reports in, because we didn't have a credit card. So we did it in Canva, but it's something we'll be able to access from here on out, so that's good. It was just another thing that needed to be redesigned on a short deadline.
Yeah.
It's lucky you have the skills you do.
Yeah, right, yeah, so it probably went a little faster.
So we're looking now at the annual,
Yes,
the things.
yeah.
This is actually excellent.
Oh, good.
Oh, no, it's quite good.
Awesome. I think it's interesting to read, but
Well,
We read this before, right?
yeah, I
Okay,
think I've
I just
edited.
didn't see the pictures before, that's it.
Oh,
I remember going through it and thinking, oh, isn't this good?
Yeah.
oh, good.
Yeah, no, it's informative.
this is witty with the sheep walking the story walk.
Yep,
Oh, yeah,
I like that.
That's way clever.
yes. What were they reading now? What was the book?
That's a good question.
And I love this point where you write, a large glycol leak due to our aging HVAC.
That's Dorothy's line.
Well,
I
God
gotta
bless
give credit where
her.
credit is due, yep.
Yeah.
And the picture here showing the building torn apart
Oh, yeah.
is just wonderful.
The picture says more than I could write.
On that same page with the picture,
Yes,
so thankful to the NAID Foundation. I don't think that's what it was. It wasn't a foundation. Or maybe just write, so thankful to NAID.
you know what, I have it in
Okay.
here, I think.
Yeah.
Where am I
If you
looking?
check their filings, it's Corp.
Let me see. Yep, you're right.
Yeah. Doesn't make it right. Just
All
makes
right.
it different.
So I'll just say NAID, or should I spell it out? Where am I?
If you've got the
very-
space, maybe,
I know, I don't think I really have the, let me see. New foundation. When the libraries get to 75,000 from,
The report area, industrial development, period. We are so thankful to NAID for this, which came at a time when, and I think that would not pressure your space.
that's true, they're taking that, okay, say that again?
Just give it its full name and first mention, from
Yes.
new report area, industrial development, period. And then come to, we are so thankful to them, or it, as you will.
Or just cut it out. Thankful to
For this donation.
take need.
Yep,
You know, so
Perfect.
thankful to need
Perfect.
for
that'll
this
give me
donation. There you
Yep,
go, a couple
awesome.
more.
Thank
Letters
you.
out.
Well, the building still seems new.
Well,
Truth,
It's
Yeah.
25.
truth,
we,
and it ties directly into the capital needs assessment.
yeah,
So,
yeah, I mean, people still call it the new building, but at 23 now, it isn't so new.
all receive makeovers courtesy of the glycol. Witty. Again, it's a great report.
Okay.
It is really terrific.
Oh, I'm glad. An annual report should have a better energy and a better vibe to it. You know,
Yes.
It should be fun to read.
No, this really works well.
I'm reading that sentence you liked. A large glycol leak due to our aging HVAC system. Well, you could just say disrupted the library for the next 8 months versus that would disrupt. I don't
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yep.
Take out that, use which, disrupted.
I think that was okay. I forgot when you used which and when you used that.
So a large glycol leak due to our aging HVAC
Fussy on that, Beth.
system.
That,
Am I just saying our
That di-
aging HVAC system disrupted the library for them?
yeah,
Perfect.
instead of would disrupt, just say disrupted.
I like
Because
that.
it
Because it's
did
past
do.
tense.
Yes. Yep,
Good point.
Because I think everything else is past tense.
yep, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Read it through it quickly.
I'm hoping Catherine Dilly will read this too and see her shout out because she did do a great job in there.
Yeah.
Wow, I guess, huh? The current exhibit is just terrific.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to go in.
Yeah, very sharp.
This last sentence now, I'm really looking at it, about India is also organizing art exhibits for the library and presented two exhibits in FY '22. I reversed that and say that
Yep.
she presented two and is continuing to, or is currently organizing additional art exhibits for the library.
So you want Delia presented 2 exhibitions in FY '22 and continuing to organize art exhibits.
I
Is that
wonder,
what you were,
Yeah,
is that what you wanted? Oh, okay, all right.
You want it?
and
Newburytown Day,
continues to
we had that wonderful exhibition
FY '23.
in '23.
So
Well, this
that's-
covers,
This only goes to June 30th, 2022.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should have seen me. I had to write down the dates because I kept thinking, did that happen in that FY or that FY?
Right, well, at least that'll save rewriting.
It would be better if the annual report was actually due like 3 months after the fiscal year ended. Because it would make more, that's a lot earlier, but it would
Yeah,
make more
yeah.
sense.
Yes,
to
I
me,
agree.
Writing it.
Wait, this covers July 1, 21 to June 30, 22. Newbury Day was June 16, 22.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
All right, which ones did I?
no, what, regarding the use of the community room.
Oh, I didn't write which exhibits. I had the 2 exhibits in there and I must have deleted it because of space.
Well, you can't do what you can't do with space, that's for sure. And the picture is terribly important.
Yeah.
I mean, it does it. That's a great shot.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I'm like reading and listening and I don't do that well.
2 exhibits I referred to. One was-
Newburytown Day was within FY '23.
Right at the, nope,
No,
FY '22,
22.
right at the end.
Yep,
If
right.
it was in June, then you're right, yep.
But it isn't critical. And that shout out to Catherine is important.
Okay. I didn't get what you were talking about with the picture though. I'm sorry. You were taking something out and it was moving it, shifting it, is that what it was doing?
It's the carpeting and all.
Oh, just
Oh.
that the picture, I could write more without the picture.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but, no, but I like the picture.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah, pictures,
Yeah.
what's, the picture's worth 1,000 words?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
All righty then. I think it's a great report.
It's good for people who don't really, just want a short, sweet, this is what we did.
And
Yeah.
it's going to go onto the website, right, Erin?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, good.
absolutely. Oh, then this is, okay, here it is.
I like the way you said their continued support of their library.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
because it is the town. You're merely here. Short period of time.
Do we have to say we approved the annual budget write-up, or?
I'm sorry?
We have to take a vote on
I
the
don't think you have to vote on the annual report. I don't remember, but on the budget request packet on the whole,
Okay.
and it's part of it this year. So I guess it does,
It's included.
yeah.
Okay. When do we do that?
Do we need
Can I make a
to,
motion?
are there more things? There you go. Are there more items,
I mean-
documents we need to review, Erin?
There are the goals for FY '24, department goals. That should be in your packet.
Yeah.
If you want, there fairly short blurbs. And then there are the goal updates from the current year we're in, which is FY '23.
You run through accomplishments here.
What's that?
You present accomplishments 1 through 5 for
Are you on the current year,
uh,
FY '23?
I'm only on the document here. Last fiscal year, 2 to 3.
Yes. So
Okay.
this is kind of what we have completed. So I wrote, Tracy had auto-filled the library position that we added, but she had it as 28 hour, well, this is right. The goal was 28 hours, 32 hour per week library associate. But what we had to do was cut the hours to 26 and 30 and change it to an information assistant. Because with Jean's request last year, she was asking for an assistant to her, like an administrative assistant. But our greater need was on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So I had changed that. So I wrote mostly complete because we didn't do it exactly as we said, and we couldn't afford 28, 32 hours. We had to cut it to 26, 30. So ideally, that position would be fully full-time, like everybody else. So that's why I wrote mostly complete on that one. Same for the shifting of salaries. So that goal, we were able to do for 2 full-time positions, but then this year I had to subsidize their $16 an hour wages with
Right.
state aid, so that's why I wrote mostly complete there.
Yeah.
Because we're still
Yeah,
having to supplement
Yes.
with state aid.
and that carries forward for next year as well.
All the years until the town will
Yeah,
take
pick it up fully.
Yeah,
And it ain't gonna be this year, we
I
know.
know, I know.
So this whole packet goes as is into Tracy
Yep.
and to FinCom, right?
Well, it goes to Tracy. I don't know what she gives to FinCom. I don't know if they get everything or if I don't know that process. But I can ask that question if I get a meeting.
And offer all of us for a meeting with FinCom,
Who's FinCom?
The
Financial
financial
Committee, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I thought it had something to do with finance.
Good take.
But, you know.
So what I do know about the process is that this goes to Tracy and she will present it, I don't know how she presents it, to FinCom to vote on. Does it also go to the select board
Ultimately, yeah,
at the end, maybe?
and to town meeting.
And then to town meeting if our request is above 2.5%. So
Look, the budget for the next year needs to be approved by town
the whole
meeting
budget.
in its entirety.
It does, but there's I thought there was I don't know if it's a law, a rule that the town can go up as high as 2.5% for COLA without a town vote.
It's not my comprehension. My comprehension is maybe wrong, okay? The town is permitted to exact 2.5% from the revenue base as of the beginning of this fiscal year for the next fiscal year. Okay, so as of
Sorry.
7,
I don't understand what you
as
said.
of 7/1/22, the town's fiscal, taxable base was, say, $30 million. Beginning 7/1/23, the town is permitted to impose taxes equivalent to $30 million plus 2.5%. All right. Let's take the 30 million as the taxable base. Let's assume, to make the arithmetic simple, the tax rate is $11 per thousand, which it is, roughly that. 1087, I think. Okay, so go ahead, do it. Do the.
Do what? I'm an English major, I'm not
Hey,
that.
hey, you're reaching for your machine.
No, I'm moving my hand because it's getting stiff.
You folded it back.
I did not
No, she
volunteer.
didn't raise her hand.
I can do it, but you're not gonna like the results.
Time.
It's funny. Yeah, not me.
Leave the change off, make it all clear numbers.
Well, yeah, I think you said that. I do better with examples.
That's what I,
What'd you come up with?
no, I didn't do it. I'm sure there's something else that
It's all up to you.
Okay.
while you were working on. That was from my class. And I drew and then painted a icon, and that was the Christmas card I did. But I did it as a magnet because I didn't do it, I couldn't get it done fast enough to have it printed.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wow. Such talent, huh?
Yay. She's the painter.
We have a...
All right, here's the deal.
Okay.
Assuming for the sake of presentation, and I hope this is right, every $1 million in assessed valuation at $11 per thousand of assessed valuation produces $110,000 in revenue for the community, okay? Under Prop 2.5, looking forward from 7/1/23, the town is permitted to increase that assessment by 2.5%, which will yield $112,500 of revenue. That's what Prop 2.5 does. In the budgeting process, folks look for no more than a 2.5% increase in expenses to go along with it.
But is that something that the town, if the town decided to raise the budget 2.5%, I believe that they have that within their purview to do, that they don't need to ask the town to vote on that. Is that right?
That doesn't sound right.
Okay. Then I'm not
The
understanding.
town meeting needs to vote on the entire budget as presented.
Okay.
And that's what we did, April 26th this year.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that in my head.
No, that's okay. I don't know where I got mine either. But I do think that's the way it works.
Okay.
So, the assessed valuation in the town is, I don't know what it is. I can't remember. I've seen the number, but I can't remember. The tax base, so to speak. But if there is, and there's limited new construction, you can use the entire assessable base and the revenue produced as an emendation to the upcoming fiscal year's budget. That's what was done this past fiscal year, which is what raised such hell with the concerned citizens, including your dear friend Jim Moran. So,
Okay.
but anyway, we got through it and it got approved, and it's quiet because the library's under culture and recreation
Yeah.
or some blessed thing within the warrant.
Yeah.
Right at the very end of it, which is a nice spot.
Oh, people are tired then by then.
Yes!
They don't want to listen.
And there was so much more else
Sounds
going
good.
on
Well,
too.
And our budget tends to be
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
this big.
low profile stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the beginning. What are we working on now?
Okay, so we've got the goals for, let me just do FY '23, we just went through.
Yep.
FY '24, oh, you know what? Goal number 2, this is from the beginning when I first started working on the budget request. Should goal number 2 of FY '24, should I change this to shift approximately, should I make it a smaller number? So really, it would be about 5,200 is what we're asking for back for materials for FY '24. So I should probably change that number.
I don't know. I mean, in your timing, incrementally.
But this is just for FY '24.
Okay.
So I think that should equal the request of 5,200 towards materials specifically.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're asking for in the budget request.
Right.
Right.
I don't have the supplies budget in here as a goal. I don't know if that counts as a goal. I don't think it does.
What you just said?
No, the other part of the budget, that 5,200 is the part that's related to the materials expenditure requirement. The other 3,000 that I'm asking for our supplies budget is because we were level funded and our consortium membership went up more than the 2% is going to give us. 2% only gives us $770, and that alone is over 1,000.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking for another 3,000 for supplies. So I don't think that counts as a department goal. That's just part of the budget request. Whereas the materials expenditure requirement is different.
You want to capitalize under objective materials expenditure, ME?
Yes.
Kind of that is the gray ghost that we're dealing with. And again, the measurement.
Yeah.
But I think that's excellent, and that ties right into your request.
Yeah.
Just as the goal for, oh yeah, that's right, relates to your request of increase on the supplies. Heather needs to be better compensated.
Yeah, that she's been the same price for a while.
Yeah. And it was fine because things were stable.
Right.
Gone to hell now.
Right.
Everywhere. Everything. I see the average cost of automobiles is kissing 50,000. That's nuts.
Wow.
That is absolutely nuts.
That is nuts for an average.
For an automobile. Oh, well, that's, you know. Where'd that go? Exactly right. Well, that's good. That's good. It's well done and earned. All right. Anything else we need to look at in these charts?
Alright, then, so we've got 3 accomplishments from FY '22-23, which is kind of a little bit redundant, but we've got the salaries, salary and wage summary, where I factor in the
Those are
state
the-
aid supplemental wages.
Those are the spreadsheets.
Yep, those are the spreadsheets. Trying to
You know,
metrics.
Any org person who would look at your organization chart. You have everybody reporting to you,
I do.
which is inevitable, of course.
Well, we're so small.
Exactly, but still. We could move the boxes and look better, I suppose, but it doesn't matter. 'Cause it is what it is. All right. And these trends and metrics, this is interesting.
Yeah, Dorothy pulled those together. Which is great.
Trends and metrics, is that
Yeah.
what we're looking at? I have a question.
Sure.
I know they moved I'm not sure what they call it. It's the elderly, the,
Council on Aging?
thank you. I knew there was a council in there, just wasn't sure where it was. I know it's over near the U-Haul place, right? Or near the
It's
town
in the
hall?
same building where Town Hall is now.
Okay. Do we have a lot, because I'm looking at your target for 2024, for new library cards given out.
Yes.
So it's like almost an increase of 100 you want to do. Do we have that much movement in and out of town?
Well, we have movement in and out of town, but we also have movement with the MVLC where they go through and do what's called a purge.
Okay.
And so that's what happened the last year, the year before.
So
We
that
went
brought
from
it
like
down.
5,000 to where we're at now.
Okay.
And what that does is it goes through, and anybody who's been inactive for, I think, 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
it deletes them.
Okay, so in the Council on Aging, do they encourage people to sign up for library cards, or do most of them have library cards?
That's a very good question.
That's an excellent question.
Because
Yeah.
I would think that they would be ones that may not have had them in the past, but now, I'm reading, well, no, I've always read a lot, so, but a lot of people start because they're not as active.
Right.
And I know that we do a lot, I think is Catherine in charge of it? In bringing books to people at home and all sorts of stuff. But through, through Council on Aging, I mean, they can certainly get more people who are home
Yep,
to get signed up for that.
that's a really great idea.
Because that might be a good area to get into.
It definitely is. And we do have the technical capacity to do mobile sort where we could bring our Wi-Fi scanner and everything over there and some library cards and sign people up.
Yeah,
That's a
We could
great
have a
idea.
library sign up thing over there.
A
yeah.
couple times a month now, they have a community dinner that you sign up for.
Oh.
Or luncheon.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's quite a few
That's great.
And
clusters of
especially if
people.
they put in requests, they can,
Yeah.
if they don't have computers to do it or are not comfortable doing that, they can certainly Council on Aging can certainly take requests and then connect with the person over here, and then if they go there for those
Right, we can
luncheons.
give them our forms to fill out.
Absolutely. And
I love
then-
it. Yes.
And they also have a newsletter of their own.
Right, they do. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
We put it out in the
See,
lobby.
you're aging,
thank God, right?
really.
But,
It
yeah,
should not
because
be
I think,
anymore,
I
yeah.
do remember whoever comes over to do the, I don't know, it was an individual or whatever, the person who was gathering books for their relative or whatever, was asking about, their relative likes a certain type of writer or had a certain author, and Catherine was suggesting other authors, because they're like, they read through the whole series, is there some, so that's a really good thing that maybe they can have a little presentation and say,
Oh, yeah.
if this is the type of writing you like the mysteries and this type of other things, you can take out these people too.
Definitely.
Yeah, another little community service.
I do have to run, unfortunately, but I did want to ask if it's okay to vote this through with the edits as requested.
I think so.
Oh, I think so, yes.
Yeah.
And we have a motion on the table, which Terry already made
Second.
to approve it. Beth has seconded, and we have approved it unanimously.
Awesome,
Yes.
So
thank you
make
very
the
much.
presentation as and when you can.
All right, and I will put everything together. I will CC you all when I send it over to Tracy
Terrific.
with all the final documents.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and
That's
with that, I think we will draw the meeting to a close and make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And I
Yes.
suppose actually probably ought to think about the next meeting. Huh?
Did we pick
Oh,
one
yeah.
already, or
In
no?
February?
I don't know why, I think we did.
Well, we're going for the third
15th?
Wednesday of the month, right?
Right, and at 3:30? That's the 15th. Does that look okay?
Yep, looks good.
And we're going to do 3:30 again?
I think so.
Or do we want to shift over? Could we shift over to 5 to try to bring Margaret back into
If
conversation?
she can make it, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with eating.
5 is
So if
good?
you want to feed me?
But I would like, yeah, no,
I really would like to do something to have her be able to come back.
I think
That's a
if
good idea.
we're gonna change it, she should commit to coming, because I think we changed it to 5 and then she
She
didn't.
didn't come, so.
Right, it was
Yeah, I
originally
agree with
5.
We're 1 and 1 on that, so
Yeah.
let me just shoot
But
an
yeah,
email and ask.
Do what, yeah, whatever, because the more the merrier, I mean.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And if we can get our owl working, we might be able to have her join us virtually, if that's allowed. I don't know if we can do a combination
Mm-hmm.
I would think so.
meeting. She might not, I don't know. There might be a rule on it, I'm not sure.
Well, it might be 2 that we say every other meeting,
Right.
3:30, 5:30, and then, you know, she can participate, if she can make it at 5:30.
Okay, so
I don't know if
let's
she's
let's find out
traveling
if she
and-
can do 5, 5:30. and
All right, great.
Proceed accordingly. We
Absolutely.
can decide among ourselves.
Okay, so we're adjourned, right?
We're
Yes.
adjourned.
Okay. Before